Welcome in, Falcon fans. My name's Seth Hagan, and welcome to a special segment. We've got an interview with our athletic director, Mark Richard, here at the University of Montevallo. We're going to find out a little bit about him, the challenges of dealing with COVID-19 this fall, and what exactly is going to happen going forward with all of our athletic programs getting back started, and how we're trying to get fans back to Gulf South Conference competition. And so we'll bring in our athletic director, Mark Richard. Mark, we really appreciate the time today, and hope all is well with you.
Yeah, Seth, thank you for having me on the show. It's great to be here, and it's been a trying fall, and I'm anxious to talk about it today.
Absolutely, absolutely. So just to start, we want to get to know you a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing, and maybe, how did you come to be here with us in Montevallo?
You know, I'm a small-town Pennsylvania guy, and grew up loving athletics, graduated from a small Division II school, very much like Montevallo up in Pennsylvania. And I loved athletics. I played college football. I wanted to get into athletics, and I got my break. I went to the University of Florida for graduate school, and then I got my first job and kind of worked around. And in 2014, I interviewed for the job here at Montevallo, and lucky enough, I got the job, and here I am in my 7th year.
Yeah, and I mean, 7 years in, done a great job, but I would imagine this year has been unlike any other that you've experienced. Just kind of go a little bit into that, because as an athletic director, there are a lot of challenges that this year has brought us.
Yeah, you know, I think you look back, it all started last March when everybody started canceling all these competitions. Yeah. And it kind of put us into a whole new era where we had to look at everything as far as COVID-19 and how we're going to work with it. And at first, I think we all backed away and said we can't work with it. And as the summer went along and working with the Gulf South Conference, we had to figure out a way of how could we have competitions. And so we've been working with the Gulf South weekly. We've been getting guidelines from the NCAA. And slowly we started working this fall. And luckily enough, we were able to have a cross-country season. We were able to have a golf season, a fall golf season. And recently, the swim program had a swim meet this past weekend, and now our biggest focus right now is getting prepared for the basketball season, which is going to start on December 9th.
Sure, and so you mentioned some programs that were able to go on with their fall season, but we kind of had to ease in more socially distant sports, of course. So with golf and cross country, and with you mentioned swimming starting up, how do you feel everybody has done this fall in terms of compliance and how we've been able to work things around the pandemic?
You know, I give a lot of credit to our coaches and our student athletes. It's been extremely tough as they fight through this, and you know, all the rules are taking place, being masked up and all these things, but they have done extremely well. And especially cross country, as they work their way through, they practice. We had to test them weekly as they went into competition, and they came out at the Gulf South Championships, and the men finished 3rd, the women finished 3rd, with Joe Leventree finishing 2nd in the GSC, and Justine Glass finishing 2nd on the women's side. So, you know, just learning to deal with it and being mentally tough. And you have to be mentally tough with everything you're facing, because we're all doing new things. And so, you know, give credit to our student athletes and coaches. I'm very, very proud of them.
Yeah, absolutely, because, I mean, massive challenges, and we're so happy to hear that they're doing so well in the midst of all this. But as we know, some sports did not get to play their fall season, so I have to ask you, what are the plans for the Gulf South Conference in terms of the sports that had to postpone their season?
Yeah, you take a look at the sports that were canceled this fall, and you're talking about men's and women's soccer and volleyball, and right now they are on pause. So we're looking to try and have some type of meaningful competition for them this spring. So it'd kind of almost be like a World Cup situation where they may play 3 or 4 games in their pod and then advance to bracket play. So hopefully we can continue to do that. And the biggest thing for us, Seth, is getting through the fall, having some type of competition, because therefore it gives the rest of these sports some hope. And hope being that we'll be able to play, you know, basketball season, be able to play a modified soccer season and a modified volleyball season.
Yeah, and speaking of the sports coming up, we're very excited for basketball season, of course, here at Montevallo coming up next month in December. So what does that look like? What are the challenges that will be involved in, bringing fans back to Trustmark Arena and the Student Activity Center at large?
It's going to be a lot of new rules, and that's what we're fighting through right now, is trying to see what basketball will look like. And the schedule will be 20 games for each team, but there'll be no doubleheaders like we've always had at the GSC. So the women will have 10 home games, the men will have 10 home games, and they'll be on the road for their other games. So our arena will be shut down except for maybe about 280 fans can come into the game. We've got to look at everything, such as simple as a basketball that goes out of play, and if it's touched by a fan or something, we have to clean that basketball and have another one ready to go. So, sanitizing the place, the way people come in the arena, leave the arena, we're looking at every little thing we do, Seth, to make sure we're prepared for this season on December 9th.
For sure. And you said about 280-something fans at the game. Is there a percentage that was handed out by the Gulf South Conference in terms of our capacity?
Yes, we're looking at about 25% of each of our sections. But if you take a look at the seats behind the benches, we're going to have those pushed in because we have to make the team benches larger. We have to make the scores table larger. So it's wiping out that complete section. And then the sections underneath the baskets, we'll push those back so we can have our cheer team there and have our dance team and make sure they're far enough from the court.
Right.
And then the other stands on the other sideline, the first 12 feet, we cannot have anybody sitting there. So it's going to be 25% of the rest of that section. So it's cutting way back on our numbers in the arena. So if you want to come to a game, I would make sure you're checking the time and getting there early.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, I want to make sure that everybody knows that the basketball season will start next month. We're very excited about it, but of course, everybody, we just need to make sure that we mask up, follow regulations so that we can all stay safe and keep the coaches and the student athletes safe as well. When is that first game, Mark, here at Trustmark Arena?
The first game is going to be a women's game on Wednesday, December 9th. And I think it's West Georgia coming in. So our women's basketball team is coming off 18 victories last year, Seth. And it was our fourth winning season in the last 24 years. And Coach Van Atta has a lot of our kids back this year. So they're looking to have another great season. They were so close to making the NCAA championship. And on the men's side, Coach Young is in his 18th year here. It has been very, very successful. He's got a great group of kids out there working hard and just, they've got to get rolling and we're looking forward.
All right, good stuff. All right, well, we appreciate your time once again, Mark. We're very excited for the new season. And just before we let you go, we do know that the spring teams should be full go. Everything is good in that regard?
Yes, right now it is. We're hoping and praying that this works out for us and we can go full speed ahead in the spring.
Absolutely. All right. Well, once again, thanks for the time. And once again, just coming here and giving us the full layout. Once again, really looking forward to basketball season and beyond.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me on the show.
You got it.